Hello, welcome to Board Game Bonkers. I'm Jay Sears, and today we're going to take a look at 10 board games that are better than Scrabble. Now, I don't have a problem with Scrabble, actually, I quite enjoy it, but usually those who are really good with words, particularly with English teachers or literature speakers, they're generally good and usually win. So that's from my experience anyway. But there are games I think that are better than Scrabble. That kind of levels the playing field and gives a bit more variety as well. So let's check them out. Before we do that, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Please give this video a like if you enjoy it, and let us know in the comments down below. If you get any suggestions or is any particular topic that you like from this list, let us know in the comments down below. The more you get involved, the better that this video becomes available for others, because the algorithm picks it up, and the more comments, likes, come on to this video. So please do get involved. I like to create that sense of community. And as always, I always write these articles before I do videos on them on my Medium blog. I'll put the link in the description down below. Please do check it out because you can have a look at what potential videos might be coming out before they even reach YouTube. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to the list. I'm going to start off with a notable mention, and this is Ransom Notes. And there are lots of games like this. It's kind of ridiculous. It's a bit funny, this kind of word magnet game. So what happens is each round kicks off with a kind of randomly drawn prompt card. So you just kind of draw that and have a look at what the prompt is. And then players then go into their kind of word magnets, and they're aiming to concoct a kind of most an appropriate dreadful response possible. But here's the kind of kicker: you've got a judge, and that's kind of chosen. Players will choose who the judge is, and they will determine the funniest sentence. And it's kind of, you've got lots of games like this that do this and look at it, but I kind of like this one. It has a little different twist to it. And I just like the feel of it, the little magnet pieces that you've got as well. And you can do some kind of wacky words. And there is no kind of who does the best word kind of choice. I don't really like that. It's just whoever's got the funniest response, really. But there are lots of games like this, but you're not acting or saying it, you're just spelling it out. But this is just a fun little game. It might be worth just checking out. Now let's go into our number 10, and this is Spell Smashers. And so what do you do in Spell Smashers? You'll be trying to wield weapons to defeat these monsters using your combination of your letter cards to create these spell words, and that's what essentially you're doing. But I like the theme of how it incorporates words into this kind of monster game. You're fighting these monsters using these spell cards, creating these words through the cards to try and defeat the monsters. I really like it. I think it's great in how they've done this and trying to put a more fun theme into words. This is great. I think it's great to play this with kids, and I really do enjoy it. I definitely recommend checking it out. You want something a bit more fun where you don't really have to be good at words. You're just getting these different words and having a bit of fun and fighting monsters. Check it out. It's fun. So number 9 is letterpress. Now, in letterpress, which is, you can play up to 6 players, which is good. So the objective is to secure first pick of letters on what's available to expand your kind of collection, and you're trying to outsmart your opponents by getting the letters first before others. But you've got to be aware, because any letters you leave behind in your words could be turned against you, and the opponents can use it against you. So I really like that. The way this just uses words is different, and you're trying to maximize the effect of the kind of stored letters you've got and the words you're creating, but you're going to try and use them all if you can, and others can use those words again, the letters against you. I really like how this has got a little twist in this game, and then your usual building of words, because in Scrabble you can leave words and letters behind, can't you? Well, you can't really leave letters behind in this game because you'll be penalized for it. So I really like this. But it does have a similar feeling. You have to kind of be good to use all your letters if you can. But it's fun. I enjoy it. And number 8 then is Wordsy. Now, Wordsy is, again, a little bit similar in some ways, but it does have some difference. So in each round, players are tasked with swiftly examining of the 8 letters. Now, they're always consonants that are displayed on the board in real time. Now, there is a race to this where the first player writes down a word and flips a 30-second timer. This player is then deemed the fastest, while the others now have 30 seconds to jot down their own words. I really like that, but it does kind of reward those who are good with words, just like Scrabble. But this is funny. I don't really like this. It has a little bit of a fun feel to it. Um, Now, all players will kind of score their words and obviously look for bonuses, and you get a bonus for being the fastest player. So it does reward that, like Scrabble. If you're good with words, you kind of will tend to win this. So let's move into number 7, and that is Wordcraft. And this is simply a word game, but a little bit different. You've got this 26 letter cards. You're trying to work out, well, how am I going to create a word with these cards based on what my objective is, and trying to get these experience points, but you're trying to gain control by putting cubes on these cards to try and create the word you want. So I really like the way they've done that. It's different. It feels a little bit different. They can copy area control into word games. You're placing these cubes down, work out which word you want to create. I really like it. It's different. It's got a different feel to it. So let's move into number 6, and this is a kind of almost deck building style game, paperback. There is hardback as well, which is a little bit deeper in strategy, but I think paperback is better suited for those who want a bit more relaxed game. So what do you do in paperback? So what you'll be doing is obviously you'll be deck building and building these words to try and craft this deck of letter cards. And then you've also got wild cards as well, which you can kind of use into to play and try and creating these words. I really like that you've got that flexibility more with this than you have with Scrabble, and you kind of put, obviously drawn cards, and you can kind of double your letter scores. You kind of build these words out by trying to work out, right, which cards do I need. Maybe I need a card from this deck. I need to get these types of cards. I need to try and build this word. I really like how it works because you can build in this deck and you're creating your own little deck of what particular letters that you need. But also you've got these wild letters, and sometimes you don't know what's coming at the deck, of course. But I like this. It twists having bag building or pool building, where you're kind of taking these tiles out of a bag, and then instead you're doing it with cards. You're building your deck instead. So it's a twist in how they've done that with Scrabble, except you haven't got a board, so you've got flexibility in how you're building that word. So I like this. It's got a slight different twist than Scrabble, but I enjoy this. You like deck building? I think you'll enjoy this. It's a lot lighter than a usual deck building game. So number 5 then is Letter Jam. The Letter Jam is highly regarded. This is a cooperative word game. So what do you do? Well, what you'll be doing is obviously you'll be working together and you're trying to piece together meaningful words using the letters that are scattered around the table. But here's a twist. You must hold your letter card in a way that's visible to us but not to yourself. So we've seen this in lots of games. So it adds a little extra challenge. I find this a little bit different. I find this fun and fascinating because you're trying to work out, well, what word are we going to create? But I know what letter you've got, but you don't know what I've got. So I kind of like that. You can't see what word you've got, the letters or cards you've got, and you're trying to work out how you're going to create this word. It's fun. It's a little bit crazy, but if you enjoy that type of game, I think you'll enjoy Letter Jam, and it's kind of that party feel to it. So number 4 then is Illiterate. Now, Illiterate doesn't have too strong a theme in it, but it keeps it quite straightforward in its theme. It's a cooperative game where you're trying to work together to form words and safeguard these precious books, essentially. So each player will have 5 letter tiles and then a red torch book. Then it displays a unique condition that you try and fulfill to restore it. So for instance, now players might need to use 8 or more tiles with at least 3 green symbols to create words that are all animals. Meanwhile, a library of 3 random tiles is placed in the center of the table. That sets a kind of stage of this battle. You're trying to get these tiles and tiles, sorry. So I really like how this is had another twist on this theme, and it tries to do it a little bit differently. I think this has got a good feel to it, and there is a challenge there. And although you're working together, I like the challenge where it doesn't feel that you're kind of battling too heavily against one another to create your words. You're still working together collaboratively to save the books and trying to work out which ones are we saving and which ones am I working towards. basic theme, but it fits well and it just works for some reason. But if you want something that can feel a little bit chaotic, then check this out. Our next one, number 3, is Codenames. Now, Codenames is very popular. Essentially, one player's got a card. They'll be able to see where the assassin is. They're trying to get the other players to guess the other cards that are laid out. And you give one word clue and a number. So it might be bread, 3. The other players are going to work out, okay, we're going to find 3 cards that associate with bread. There might be flour, great, we'll turn over flour. But if they pick the assassin, then, well, you've lost. So I really like how this works. It's simple. You've got the duet version, but I prefer the original. It's simple, it's straightforward. I like how this works. It works better if you know the other person, the way they think. Sometimes you can come up with crazy clues that you might think spy, 4, and you can think of 4. But sometimes if you can't think of all 4 and you only get 2, you can actually the next time try and guess the other 2 that you missed out last time. So I like this. This is fun. This is popular. I play this with lots of people, non-gamers. They adore and love this game. They've gone out and bought it. I definitely highly recommend you check out Codenames. So let's move into a number 2, and this is a popular party type game. This is Soul Clover. So what do you do in the Soul Clover? Well, you've got this clover. One person, what they'll be doing is they have a card. They'll then be writing on these clovers clues that associate with these cards that they've got. And what the other players will be doing is then trying to guess where those cards go around this clover. And what's quite fascinating is you're trying to figure out, because the cards slipped in between 2 words you've written on the clovers, you're trying to get the players to guess what particular card would go between which 2 clovers. So it's really tricky trying to think of 2 words that kind of are similar to one another and associated to a word on the card to try and figure out where the cards go in the clover. I think it's clever. I like it. I think it's super fun. And that moves into number 1, another super fun game, party-esque type. This is Just One. So what do you do in Just One? Just One's great. So you have these plastic boards, essentially. What you'll be doing is one player will draw a card. So you're working collaboratively together. That player will then choose a number, or it might be number 3. The other players can see what's on that card, but not the player who drew the card. Therefore, the players will then try and write on their boards words that associate with the word that's been chosen on the card. What then players then do is then show each other, but not the player who drew the card, what's on their boards. Any words that match get scrubbed out. And therefore, what's left is what's shown to the player who drew the card. They can then see the words and then try and guess the associated word that's on the card. Really, really clever. I really like this. It's fun. It's simple to play. It's really good to get everyone involved. It's a good kind of family type game. And you don't have to be good with words. You don't really need to know words are. You just write them on the board. And that's why I love this game. It's the complete opposite to Scrabble. You don't need to be good with words, but it uses words in such a fun way. So that brings us to the end. Hope you've enjoyed that. Perhaps I haven't explained some of the games as well as I could have, but it gives you an idea of whether the game is for you or not. But I definitely recommend checking them out. Some of these I haven't played for a long time, so trying to remember how to play, trying to rattle my brain there. But I definitely recommend the top 5 to be checking them out. I think they're really super fun. If you like more content like this and want us to keep doing the better than different classics, then please let us know in the comments down below. We really want to be getting non-gamers involved into trying different types of board games and seeing what's out there that's perhaps different than the classics that they enjoy. Please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. My name's Jay Sears. Until next time, take care.
This is Bonkers.